name is Phương, and today we're going to work with compatible numbers. So, compatible numbers, we have four numbers today. Well, first is 10, then is 25, after that is 50, and the last is 100. So, with these four compatible numbers, so you might wonder what is compatible numbers? So compatible numbers, which are the numbers that work very well with the other numbers. So when you work with that number, you find out that when you do some problems with the numbers, is much more easy than the other numbers. So now let's have some examples and work with this compatible number. First, I have the number 120 plus 30. So, how can we solve this problem? So, see that 30 is 3 plus 10, which means 3 tenths. So 3 tenths, and then in a number line, 120, 130, 140, 150. So it's about 3 more tenths. So when we add 3 more tenths, which means we add 30, and from 130 and add more 3 tenths, which means to 130, 140, and 150. So that is how we solve the problem with compatible number, that we can break it down into the compatible number. With this example, we'll break it down into 10. So that is how we solve the problem. Let me take another pen. With the first compatible number, and now let's move on to the second one. So now I have an answer with the number like 175. There's a lot of ink here. We'll erase it right again. 175 plus, think of the number, 75. So now, is not any compatible numbers? You cannot think of any, but wait, think of 75, which means 325. This one is 25, 25, and 25, as in the number line. 25, 20, 50, and 75, which means the 75 is 325. So now, what about this number? 175. You see that? 25, 50, 75. So what is so on? What is the next number? So let's do it again. 25, 50, 75. 100 is the next number. Oh, it looks similar. It has something in common. So 125, 150, 175. So now we have the number 175 as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 725. So now here we have 725, and now we just need to add more 325. So 175, 200, 225, 250. So this is how we we do the problem with the compatible 25, and when you work well at these numbers, you can do much more things with the numbers 25, and you can solve the problem much more faster. So the answer is 250. And that's the answer to the example, to the second example. Now let's turn to the third one. So, do you remember that the first one is what number? Yeah, correct, is 50. So now I have the example. So 200. So now 200 plus 50. So when you look at this number, you can actually find out the answer just by looking at that numbers. 200 plus 50, yeah, it's much more easy than the first one, the second one. So just about 250. And what about 150 plus 50? Now we don't break it down into 25, but we'll work with 50 as usual. So now 150 plus 50, 50 plus 50, which means 100. And now just work at this one is 200. So when you work with 50 is much more easier, and like extremely with 50 and 50, it's much more easy for you to do it. So now let's move to the last example with the compatible 100. So about, let me think, 3,225. So as we have learned like the base 10 rules, so now just work with 100 as that one. So we'll plus 10, which means we add one more digit to the tens. Just now work with 200. Just like work with 100. So 200. Here, are we plus 1 with this 3,1? No, that's not correct because there's 3,000, but we just have 200. But now, let's take a look at the second one. 225. So we just need to work with this 200 to find out the answer. 200 and put more to 100. So it's just about 3,425. So now you have learned all the compatible numbers in their example, and from now on you can work with those compatible to find out the solutions, and it's much more easier to do the problems with this compatible number. And that's the end of the video. Thank you for your listening.